Hey Planet Roller Skaters, my name is Amy West. You've come to know me as Indy Jones. I am the creator of Planet Rollerskate, the owner of this YouTube channel, and the co-owner of PlanetRollerskate.shop. I know it isn't a secret that I've been under scrutiny over these last couple of months due to recent events on the Planet Rollerskate Facebook group and an earlier video regarding the Impala brand. After the backlash I received, the subsequent exile from my friends and partners, and the public defamation of my character, I was not in a good place. I am still not in a good place. But I owe it to you, the community at large, and to myself to explain these events, my actions, tell my truth, and set the record straight. I do not want to turn attention to myself while the Black community rightfully has the attention of the media. Their truth matters more than anything right now. But at the same time, my silence is not advocacy, and I can no longer opt out of the conversation, even at a time when I have been made out to be the enemy. I am not your enemy. I want to deeply apologize for my mistakes, horrible communication, acting out of panic, creating drama, and taking attention away from what really matters. If you are unfamiliar with the events that took place on the Facebook group, you can find my explanation of what happened linked below. I am also linking a video created by Farron, a member of the group, who very accurately gives an account of what happened and whose video perfectly explains the glaring issue with the decisions that I made. I want to publicly thank Farron and all the members of the Facebook group who called out the hypocrisy and prejudices of the post removal. Although I have spoken to many of you since that video privately, I owe those whose posts were deleted and all the members of the group my heartfelt apologies. I am responsible for, and accountable for, the removal of the post. At the time, I believed that we were protecting our page from graphic and heartbreaking imagery, but I now understand that it was a decision made without consideration for the important and valuable conversation that was taking place. I am extremely disappointed in myself and how I communicated out of panic and damage control. The way I acted was not at all in line with my values and beliefs, and I am embarrassed by the way I handled that. I want to thank you all for speaking your truth, and I cannot thank you enough for this lesson. It was never my intention to silence voices, hurt or cause pain, control the narrative, intimidate, or create an environment that did not feel open and safe. I did not mean to confuse my followers and fans about my character and my values, or remain silent during a time when Black, Indigenous, and people of color needed advocacy and allies most. I've seen and heard some of the videos that have come out from my friends and colleagues, and even videos of people who have never even met me. And while I do agree that there are things I have said or done that I didn't see were affecting others, there are also a lot of untrue claims and slanderous judgments that I have to address. I know that there has been a lot of conversation around the Impala video that was posted to the Queer Girl Straight Skates channel in the spring. While I will admit that the video was created in haste and the conversation was steered off course, there are a few things I would like to address. Firstly, I want to apologize to Karen the Carrot. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel anything other than supported and empowered. I hired you as a correspondent because I saw unlimited potential in you. And this is absolutely something I was trying to discuss with you privately, but since you've not responded to my calls, I'm gonna try you here. I thought we were all trying to get the Impala video out really fast in response to all the uproar at the time, and I'm sorry that you didn't feel prepared. In retrospect, yes, we should have slowed down. And watching that video, I cringe when I start talking more about the business of selling Impalas rather than the actual events that took place. And for that, I'm sorry. I hear myself taking over that conversation when canceling the brand came into question. And as we discussed, it is a loaded question, right? But regardless, that conversation did not support your point of view, and I wish I had seen that before the video was published. Of course, Karen wasn't the only person involved in the creation of that video, and I have seen and heard Queer Girl Straight Skates accounts of how everything went down. I owe her the same apologies. I asked us to work fast, and that was a mistake. But it happened, and if you felt taken advantage of in that respect, I truly am sorry. I can't change how it happened. I'm just here to say that I wish I had done things differently. I want you to know that I hired you as a correspondent because you are clearly talented and have a connection with your followers that cannot be denied. I wanted to lift your channel, and anything contrary to you being successful ultimately would have hurt me too. I've never wanted you to feel like I was placing you in competition with other correspondents or myself. I do remember having conversations about how the YouTube algorithms worked and how the top ranking videos worked, and if I confused you into seeing that as being competition, I'm sorry. I wanted to have an open dialogue out of our work relationship, and I failed to create that. My leadership failed you, and I can see why you would say I was blind to my privilege. I think that's true. But to call me racist is hurtful, and claiming you have had to correct my prejudice is not something I ever remember happening. Racism is not part of my character, and anyone who knows me and who has money to make off of skating videos and selling skates, and who has bought into this false accusation about me, certainly had something to gain from it. I may have been blind to my privilege, and I may have stupidly reacted trying to do damage control, but you, judges of my character, may no longer suggest that I am racist. I am here to say again and again, I am a great many crappy things, but that is not one of them. I've learned some really hard lessons in the past few months. I believed that I had created real friendships and pulled enough people into the roller skating community that these relationships would defend me in the court of public opinion. Instead, they turned on me, and some are reaping the benefits of that betrayal. I understand that people must distance themselves from and cut ties with anyone who is racist, but my former friends and business partner know that I am not. I made mistakes, I acted blindly, yes, even stupidly, and for that, I am embarrassed. So to our employees and colleagues that were caught in the crossfire and berated by the public, I am unequivocally sorry. You did not deserve to have stones thrown at you, and I take full responsibility for what you had to deal with. I know one of the biggest questions out there is my fallout with Pigeon and the state of our co-ownership of Planet Rollerskate. As you may have guessed, the loss of my best friend and business has hit me the hardest, and after being left in pieces from the public beating I was already going through, this broke me completely. It has been the biggest betrayal and the biggest heartbreak of my entire lifetime. Planet Rollerskate was an idea that I created simply out of wanting to share skating with anyone and everyone. At the time, nobody was consistently making long format skate videos, and I saw a need for information and resources online. Pigeon saw the value in this and participated in the videos to help promote her brick and mortar skate shop here in Long Beach. After seeing the success of the channel, Pigeon suggested we open an online shop, and at first I was not on board. I have said this before, my interest was not in the sale of skates. I did not want to perpetuate consumerism or run an e-commerce empire. I just wanted to make videos and build a community. However, at the time, I didn't have a place to live and I couldn't even afford to feed myself. So I hoped that selling skates would be the best way to sustain the creation of free informational content for skaters. So eventually, I agreed to enter a joint business venture with Pigeon. The agreement was that she would use her established retail business to run online shop operations, and I would create content to promote the shops and roller skating as a whole. Ultimately, I ended up building and operating the online shop on my own while simultaneously producing videos until we were able to hire employees. When quarantine hit and Pigeon had to close her brick and mortar operation, it made me proud that my online operations had grown to the point that we were able to bring on the employees from the brick and mortar shop and keep them working from home during the pandemic. Planet Rollerskate by name is mine. This YouTube channel is solely owned by me, and I am in a complete 50-50 joint business venture with the online shop for which Pigeon now has full control. Because Pigeon was my friend, I did not foresee the need to protect my assets legally. Everything was in her name. Soon after the removal of the Facebook post, she sent me an email treating me like an employee instead of a partner, and she gave me a list of things that I had to do before I was allowed to return to work. Before we could even speak or talk about this email, she was publicly denouncing my co-ownership of our business and separating herself from me as much as possible. I was publicly put on leave, and so for my understanding, that meant I was not allowed back until I had met a list of demands from Pigeon to clear up as much as possible all of the backlash from what had transpired. I was given a window of time to meet those demands, which I was happy to do, but days before my deadline had approached, I was fired from Planet Rollerskate by Pigeon. The reason publicly stated for my firing was that I refused to be held accountable for my actions, which is entirely untrue. I don't know what happened or why I wasn't given my allotted time. I can only assume that it was easier to just cut off the leg than to suck out the poison. With that being said, it would be naive to neglect the fact that by firing me, there was a lot to be gained. The platform that I built and grew had record sales this year, and by cutting me out of the picture and not honoring our agreement, she substantially grew her own profit and gained full control of the business. If the situation had been reversed, I can't imagine I would have treated her the way that I have been treated. I believe in defending your friends and staying by their side, especially when you know their true character. I am the legal owner of the Planet Rollerskate name, which is why the shop was changed to Pigeon Skates. However, when you type planetrollerskate.shop into your browser, it redirects you to pigeonskates.com. Although she claims she is no longer associated with Planet Rollerskate, Pigeon has yet to release this domain despite my trademarked ownership because of the traffic it drives. Even though I was hesitant to enter the business of e-commerce and retail, it was something I really came to enjoy because of y'all. I absolutely loved serving skaters, and I do feel a great sense of loss now that this chapter has closed. I wish things had gone differently. I was in the midst of trying to right so many wrongs, and then things went from bad to worse, and I had no idea how to come back from that. It is not lost on me the rich culture and the history of the Black community in roller skating. In fact, it was something I believed I was celebrating with my mission to bring roller skating into the lives of others. Clearly, work here needs to be done, and I understand that I do not represent this history and culture, but I do vow to help uplift Black voices and voices of all color in the realm in which I have influence. In fact, there was an article from the Huffington Post that does a great job of sharing this history that I will link below. It does mention the outcry for what transpired on the Facebook group, but regardless, I think it's worth the read. You know, I believe the community of roller skating is one of love, acceptance, common interest, and non-judgment. True colors of friends and followers have been brought to light. And while I certainly understand and respect the call out of my actions and my mistakes, I do question what comments were made out of a place of education and opening our eyes, and which were made out of hate, trolling, and something to gain. It is true that in a crisis situation, you either instinctively fight, flight, or freeze. At first I froze, immobilized from the weight of the hurt and damage I had caused. Then I fled, feeling that I needed to understand and educate myself and come to terms with what had unfolded. But neither of those have made progress or visible change. So now, I'm fighting. I'm back. I'm smarter. I promise to be better and do better. I've lost much, nearly everything. But I do carry with me the spirit that drove me to bring as many people as possible into the world of roller skating. If you are watching and listening, I am grateful to you. I hope that initially you were brought here for your curiosity and passion for roller skating, and I hope that you stay to see and learn more about the awesome community and sport. You are the roller skating community, and we are Planet Rollerskate. So let's roll.